Let me tell you about the quietest kind of betrayal, the kind that doesn't leave bruises, the kind that doesn't scream, the kind that slowly erases you. My husband never cheated. He never raised his voice. He never even called me a bad wife. He just loved his dead wife more than he ever loved me. And the night I collapsed on the kitchen floor, he didn't panic. He didn't kneel beside me. He didn't touch me. He looked down at my body like I was an inconvenience and said, "Margaret would have handled this better." That was the moment something inside me broke. Not my body, my illusion. I wasn't failing as a wife. I was competing with a memory, and memories don't lose. I married a widower. I didn't know I was marrying a shrine. When I married Thomas, everyone said I was lucky. He's loyal, he's devoted, he knows how to love deeply. They said it like it was a gift, but no one warned me. A man who loves someone for 32 years doesn't just let her go in 3. Margaret had been gone for years, but she was everywhere. Her pictures weren't tucked away. They were displayed, lit, dusted, protected, like artifacts in a museum. Her name wasn't whispered, it was repeated, daily. Margaret used to, Margaret never, Margaret always. At first, I tried to be understanding. Grief isn't a switch you turn off. So I learned her recipes, cooked her meals, folded towels the way he said she did, changed my perfume, softened my voice. One day he said casually, "Margaret wore softer colors, they were calming." The next morning, I moved my red dresses to the back of the closet. That's how it happens. You don't disappear all at once. You edit yourself, little by little, until there's barely anything left to recognize. Here's the cruel truth no one says out loud. When someone dies, their mistakes die with them. Their sharp edges, their bad moods, their ordinary flaws. Margaret never burned dinner, never forgot appointments, never got overwhelmed, never aged. Because grief edits reality, and I was living beside an edited masterpiece. Every mistake I made was proof that I wasn't her. If I slept in, she was always up before sunrise. If I felt tired, she had more stamina. If I cried, she was stronger. He never yelled, that would have been easier. He sighed, soft disappointment, polite comparison, gentle humiliation. It's hard to defend yourself against someone who isn't there. That night, I hadn't eaten all day. I wanted the chicken perfect, the table perfect, myself perfect. Maybe this time he would smile. Maybe this time I'd win. The room started spinning, my chest tightened. I grabbed the counter, and the world went black. When I opened my eyes, my cheek was pressed against cold tile. The smell of burned garlic filled the air, and he was standing above me, watching. No fear, no urgency, no love, just observation. "You push yourself too hard," he said. Margaret knew her limits. That's when I understood something terrifying. Even unconscious, I was still being compared. Even collapsing, I wasn't enough. The next morning, I stared at my reflection. She looked smaller, quieter, careful. When was the last time I wore red, played music too loud, laughed without measuring the volume? I couldn't remember. Somewhere between Margaret would have and Margaret never did that, I vanished. And here's the part that hurts the most. You can be loved in theory and erased in reality. You can be married and still invisible. When I told him I was leaving, he looked confused. "I'm just honoring her memory," he said. I nodded, and I'm done competing with it. He didn't fight for me, because you can't fight for someone you never fully chose. He wasn't building a future, he was preserving a past, and I was just maintenance, dusting the shrine, living in it, dying in it. People think betrayal is an affair, but sometimes it's being second place to someone who isn't even alive. It's shrinking so someone else's memory feels bigger. It's apologizing for not being a ghost. If someone's past is louder than your presence, you will never feel seen. And I refuse to spend the rest of my life trying to outshine a candle that should have been laid to rest. He never cheated, he just never chose me. And now, I choose myself.